Okay, welcome to another edition of the Above the Bridge podcast. I'm your host, Thaddeus. First thing I want to do is shout out our sponsors. As always, Defend Hawaii's been one of our first sponsors. They have a store, Windward Mall Shopping Center, called No One. Go check out what they have online. They have a new fall drop. Go to defendhawaii.com. Check out what you want. Use promo code ATBPOD upon checkout. You'll get 15% off your entire purchase order. Next, we have IREP Detail Supply. They're your one-stop shop detail supply superstore. They have a store in Temple Valley Shopping Center. They also have one in Las Vegas. Everything you need to detail your car, truck, van, whatever vehicle you have. Go check them out, irepdetailsupply.com. Use promo code ATBPOD upon checkout. You'll get 15% off whatever you order. Next, we have Hawaii Candy Factory, and they have the best snacks on Oahu or in the islands. Check them out everywhere. They have it in Long's, Foodland. They're the little cute packages called Noms. Right now, my favorite is the banana lumpia chocolate bark. I also like the s'mores and the peach rings. But go check them out at hawaiicandyfactory.com. Promo code ATBPOD upon checkout. You'll get 10% off whatever you order. Last but not least, we have our medicinal mushroom company, Med Mushroom Hawaii. Medicinal Mushroom Hawaii is a locally based mushroom company here in Hawaii. And right now they have 4 different mushroom tinctures, which they extract from the lion's mane, turkey tail, chaga, and red reishi mushrooms. If you don't know what medicinal properties these mushrooms have, go to their website, medmushroomhigh.com, and check out what each properties of these mushrooms do. Right now, I take all 4 in the morning. I take the first 3. I take the red reishi at night to help me sleep like a champ. But go check them out, medmushroomhigh.com. You use promo code ATBPOD upon checkout, all capitals, and you will get 45% off your first tincture of mushrooms. So go check them out. Aloha. All right. This week, my guest is somebody I wanted to have on my show for a while. Straight out of Hilo. He's a rapper. I don't know, man. Your music genre is kind of huge. I can't even categorize it. But KC808, what's up, man?
Yes, sir. It's a big blessing to be here, man. Thank you, Thaddeus, for having me, for sure.
Right on, bruh. Talking about your music, what would you categorize your music as?
So, as I was growing up, I kind of um, cultivated this idea of island urban music, is what I kind of, you know what I mean? Kind of capture both like the island side of things and the urban side of things. It had a lot to do with my upbringing and my influences as a child on what I would listen to, a little bit of Marley, a little bit of Pac, a little bit of Biggie, a little bit of Yellowman. So just like it's it ranges. So dancehall, hip hop, R&B, reggae. It's just a mix of um island and urban music, basically. Yeah.
Yeah, listening to your music, you're not handcuffed to one specific genre. So I thought that that was pretty cool. I do remember
Yeah.
you dropped the video a while ago saying that you're gonna change up your sound for a little bit. And
Hmm.
right, like your music is hard to describe, but when you hear it, it's like, okay, I get it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. It's definitely like it's niche. It's for people who like those two types of music, you know? Um it it's it's very I don't know how to explain it because like some people like me for the more reggae stuff, and then some people like me for like the hard bars or like the hip hop stuff. And it's
Yeah.
like the mixture, it's either like you you love both of them or you love one side. So it's like it is kind of hard to explain, like you're
Yep.
saying, you know what I mean?
Yep.
So it's two different niches that are kind of like grounded up together. Yeah.
That's the best way to describe it. Just listen to it. You'll get it. You know what I mean? I like
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate
Bro,
it.
you have a huge catalog, bro. I didn't realize you made that much music for that long a period of time.
Hmm. Yeah, it like back from before when it was CDs, you know. So like I was making music since I was a kid, like 12 years old is when I really
Oh, wow.
started, like 12 or 13. 13 was when I started like, okay, I'm gonna take this completely serious
Wow.
and like really locked in. So there's a lot of music that isn't on streaming platforms. Um, the later catalog is all on like Bandcamp, because yeah, it's just before iTunes was a thing, before streaming and Spotify and all of that was a thing. So the catalog goes really deep.
Yeah, it's super cool. Have you listened to your old stuff and like, oh wow, bro, I've come so far, but also appreciate like the stuff you made back then.
All the time, all the time. Most of the times it's cringe listening to the past stuff, but like that just makes me appreciate um, you know, the amount that I can do in 15 minutes now versus 15 minutes back then. It's mind blowing how fast like um technology was able to push everything, or and like and honing in the skill on top
Yeah.
of the technology. It is very I appreciate it a lot, just being able to listen back on everything that I've done and how hard I've worked to be able to do it in a fraction of the time now, you
Yeah.
know.
I get it, bro. Like so back then, I guess you've been doing it for so long, you can appreciate the technology levels. I'm sure back then it would be like a headache to make the music, record it, cut it up, make it
Yeah,
clean, drop it versus now you could probably do it in your laptop in your studio, you know what I mean? Like it's
yeah,
something that you can appreciate. I know DJs do all the time.
for sure, for sure. Because I mean, I DJ too, right? So I DJ functions out here on the Big Island a lot of the time. But the way that technology is moving now, especially with AI,
Oh, bro.
it's insane how much we can get done now, the audio engineers. Because when I started and I went to audio engineering school after I left high school,
Oh,
right?
wow.
Um, to learn how to record in studios. And it was tape. I was learning how to record on tape. It was a pastime at that point, but they were showing us um how the music industry worked before Pro Tools was a thing.
Yeah.
And man, the the way that technology moves and betters things is completely mind blowing
Oh, yeah.
for sure.
I've noticed because I'm a nightclub promoter, so I've
Mhm.
done dealt with DJs back in the day when they would have the crates, the milk crates with the
Yeah.
records in it, to the
Mhm.
CDJs, to now you just bring a freaking jump drive and just plug it in and
Yep.
go. It's crazy.
With
These
decks this big.
Yeah, these young DJs got it made, bro. They're spoiled.
Right? Super easy. No more, no, like CDJs are like very rare. You hardly walk up into the club and
Yeah,
see, unless you're like a big EDM DJ and you got four CDJs on you or something,
yeah.
Like most of the times when you show up, these DJs got things that are no bigger than a TV dinner tray.
Oh, yeah. And they could do way more on it. A
Hmm.
laptop. Yeah, it's crazy. They're spoiled, but
Hmm.
with technology, it makes things a lot easier and a lot cleaner.
For sure.
So how did you said you got started when you were 13? Like how did you even realize that you had this talent or like were driven in that direction?
So I had my cousin. It was like the bare bones beginning was at my 13th birthday, right? Um, I was watching my cousin Josh, shout out to Josh, and my friend Brandon. Um, they were both freestyling on my couch. I had like a 13th birthday party. All of my friends were chilling at the house and they were freestyling. And I was like, damn, I can't even join in. I didn't like, I was like, I don't know how they're doing this. So then, like, after that day, after like sitting and watching them, I would just like try to do it on my own time, like when I was by myself and just like really toy with the idea of rhyming words and like doing it on you know just on command or whatever, just being able to put words together like that. um and it took a while, but then once I started getting into the groove of it, I realized, I don't know what it was, something in my heart was just like, hey, this is what I want to do. Like it was a calling. So um it just drew me in and I kind of never stopped. So that was the intro to like rapping. You know what I mean? I was into hip hop from well before that because when I was a kid, when I was 9 years old, my my neighbor, he used to build lowrider bikes and he was a DJ.
Oh shit. Okay.
So yeah, and I would just watch him like DJ. This is like crate days, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? And I would watch him do it, and I would be in his garage while he was like wrenching lowrider bikes, and I was just super into it. And then he taught me how to break dance. So it was like the introduction to hip hop was well before like rhyming, but
Okay.
um, it was it was when I was 13 when I started getting into like the emceeing aspect of hip hop. Yeah,
That's insane, bro. It's to find your passion at that early age is kind of a blessing, you know what I mean?
for sure. And it gave me
Yeah.
confidence.
Oh
I had
yeah.
no when I was a kid and I was kind of heavier set. I used to get teased a lot. Um, but like hip hop, it gave me confidence and like poise. And when I was 13, that was probably when I needed it the most too. It was, like
Yeah.
kids can be unforgiving in intermediate school,
Oh yeah,
So
definitely.
it gave me poise and it gave me like confidence, and so pretty much hip hop saved my life.
That makes
And
sense.
yeah, yeah.
So you've been doing it for a while. I wanted to ask you, so you make your own beats and stuff, or you buy beats, or like how does that process work?
So now, I mean, I'll make my own beats, but I'm not shy on working with producers. Like a lot of the last few songs that I made were actually, or the last few songs that I put out were actually done by Kanan, um, Kanan Any, which is um, this cat I met online, but he's in New Zealand.
Oh, the
He's
every
done,
song's a reggae song. Is that the guy?
yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah. I
yep.
seen that guy. That
Shout
guy's
out to Kanan
talent. Yeah. That guy's
for sure,
talented, man. Yeah.
for sure. And so like him, Sheldon Palmer, which is Jay Boog's saxophone player. We've done a bunch of stuff together, production wise. And Leslie Ludiazo. So like a lot of um, I always try to work with folks that can teach me something. You know what I mean? And like I just enjoy being around. folks that are just like straight hammers,
Yeah.
and like I get the beats from them and I get to like look at how they do stuff and dissect how they're EQing their drums and like their snares and their hi-hats and all of that stuff. Um it's pretty cool just looking at other working with other folks and see how they do stuff. So I do make my own stuff, but I much I much rather enjoy peeling back the layers of other people's things and see how they get creative. I enjoy doing that. So
That's cool to hear. That means you're learning. And something my
yeah,
mom always said, she was
forever
an educator. You learn every single day until you go to heaven. And that's
for sure.
it's on her tombstone. That's what it says. And
Yep,
I see the when people are hungry to learn, that's when they get inspired and that's when they grow, especially in music, because
exactly.
that shit changes on the daily. You know what I mean?
Hmm. Yep, for sure. And it keeps it fresh. Like um I've been doing I've been doing music now, like just music for 4 years. And like being able to see or learn new things, it's never a dull moment. I can be in the studio and if stuff starts to get like kind of dry or like uninspiring, I can always just pull a Bob Marley performance up and just watch how he performed or like
Yeah.
um how the how all of the drums were mic'd up or just random different things. There's always
Yeah.
stuff to pull from, and that's what makes music so exciting for me because I can wake up in the morning and not know what I'm going to be doing all day, but I know that I'm going to learn something.
That's
I'm going
super
to be able
cool.
to put something together. So
Yo, I
yeah,
watched that Bob Marley movie, and that was one of the biggest things I liked most about that movie when they were sitting by the stairs and they created the song Exodus
yep,
and how it was put together like, oh, play that again, and then they start grooving, then he start, and
yep,
just like to see the infant stage of some song that's going to be super huge in the future and they don't even know, but just them
yeah,
vibing it, I was like, oh, that's the shit right there.
yep.
That's what music is.
You
I
just
like
made the
that kind of
point.
stuff. Yeah.
You just made the point. You never know when it's going to happen, right? So
Yeah.
it's like after watching after I watched that movie, I came home and made like three different songs.
Yeah.
And yeah, I was just, you know, you get inspired from stuff and it could change the whole the whole outcome of your life. You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
definitely.
So, and you never know when it's gonna happen too.
Yeah.
It's a good feeling. Yeah.
The fact that you're receptive to it is half the battle. A lot of people in music think they know everything or they think that they have done it or they're the top and they can't
Yeah.
learn. Their cup is too full to receive anything. That's always a
Hmm.
good thing. You know what I mean? Bro, you work with
Yep.
some artists too, huh? You work with like some mainstream dudes, huh?
Yeah, for sure. A bunch of them.
I seen you work
So,
with J Boog, Maoli. Who
hmm.
else? Um, was it
All
Ef?
kinds of people.
No, Rick Ross.
Rick Ross, Gucci Mane,
Oh yeah.
Bun B, uh, Baby Bash.
Oh shit.
Like, yeah, shout out to all of these guys too. I mean, they all played a major part in um my mentality watching how they work. You know what I mean? Especially Boog, especially Feej. Um, and I've I haven't gotten to spend an enormous amount of time with these people, but the times that I have spent with these people were so mind altering, just being around the energy that you know, uh it changed life for me.
How do you
How
get linked up with them?
um so funny enough, like with Baby Bash, right? Baby Bash actually led to me being linked up with Boog in Fiji. I was living out in Cali,
Okay.
and my homeboy AJ was like, "Hey yo, we're supposed to shoot this music video um out uh out in Southern California. I forget which part. But they were shooting a music video for Major James and Baby Bash, and AJ brought me out there, and I had linked up with um Bash and the Stewie brothers out there, um, and just started kind of working with them periodically. And then I had to move back to uh, Hilo because my grandfather caught a stroke, and I was taking care of him. But years down the line, Bash and the Stewie brothers came to do a show with Fiji and Boog over at King Cam in Kona.
Okay.
So uh, after the show, uh, Bash was like, "Hey, yo, bring all of the studio equipment to Kona, and we'll set it up in the room, and we're gonna record it." And I was like, "Okay, bet." So I brought the studio equipment out to Kona, and I set it all up in the hotel room, and Feej and Boog came through. This was the day after the concert, so we were watching the concert and all of that, and then we ended up in Bash's suite, and we were recording. Um, and it was for a song that Bash, Feej, and Boog were supposed to get on, and I was engineering, right? And then after that song was complete, I popped on one of my songs that had um, my verse and a chorus, and I played the song, and then Fiji was like, "Yo, run that back. Let me hear that one more time." So
Yeah.
I run it back, and I start playing the song again, and then he turns to Boog, and he was like, "Yo, Boog, you gotta jump on this song. You gotta
Oh,
jump on this song." I was like, "Holy shit, I can't believe this is happening right now. I can't believe this is happening." So uh Boog goes in a separate room, starts writing. Mind you, there's like 3, 4 o'clock in the morning at this point because we're done with one song, and this was unexpected, right? So
yeah.
he finishes writing his song. I mean, writing his verse for the song, and then he comes out and lays it down. That's just kind of proof that, like, right spot, right
Yeah.
time, being prepared, it all comes in a it
That's
all comes in
fucking
play. You
dope.
know what I mean?
That's a
And
sick story.
shout out to Boog, and shout out to Fiji for making that moment happen for me, because that was mind altering and um changed my trajectory, you know?
That's such a
Changed
dope
my
story. So
trajectory
you just like just put on your song just for fun and just see what
randomly.
happened and
Yeah,
oh,
just
that's
like
fucking dope.
wasn't even thinking we were gonna record to it or anything like that. It just happened like that.
That's
Yeah.
freaking cool. I like that kind of stories, bro. That's freaking cool.
That's how this business works though. It's like right
Yeah.
place, right time, and if you're prepared,
Yeah.
stuff will happen, you know?
Hey
And that's
man.
why
Yeah.
like when I talk to people, or when I talk to new artists who come in here to record, I'm always like, "Yo, if you stay in here and you stay ready, you don't have to get ready."
Yep.
And if you have
Exactly.
stuff ready to go and you play something out of nowhere, who knows who's walking down the dang hallway and who hears it and is
Yep.
like, "Hey, can I jump on that?" Or
Yep.
you know what I mean? Like, So stay ready. You don't have to get ready.
I like that, bro. That's good. That's good advice.
Yeah.
You mentioned a bunch of artists that you listen to, like Tupac, Biggie, like that. Who inspired you growing up?
Um, it runs back to the major pillars. Feej on the reggae side, Feej, Sudden Rush,
Oh shit.
um, this group called um Toxic and Abyss, which they they kind of took me under their wing first. Um, and then for like for the hip hop side, a lot of Biggie, Jay-Z, um, Dipset, so like Cameron, Joel Santana, um, uh, West Coast, so Dre and Snoop and Eminem. So it's a mixed plate. It's a mixed plate for me.
So I grew up with the same. Well, for me, I like rock music, but I always liked hip hop.
Mhm.
Um, I feel like the artists from like my younger generation had more depth to their music. And this could be because
Mhm.
I'm older, or in my opinion, that's what I grew up with. I feel like they had more like Pac. You listen to him, he's spitting poetry. He's spitting
It's layers,
versus,
yeah.
yeah, versus to the music that I hear now is, in my eyes, I feel like it's very disappointing that this is what hip hop turned into. And I'm not saying like people share my opinion. Some may or some
Mhm.
may not, but I feel like the generation that I had when I was younger of hip hop
Yeah.
had more meaning, had more, it had more
Substance.
soul, yeah, soul in it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I was gonna
Mhm.
ask you if you felt the same way.
Yeah. So I mean, like for me, um, it's I like some of the stuff that I hear nowadays, definitely not everything, just because I grew up in an era where there was substance,
Yeah,
and it was whether it was good or bad, it was deeper. But that's why you enjoy people like Kendrick Lamar now,
yeah,
where it's like you you have to listen to it and dissect it for days and run it back and like peel back layers. I like doing that kind of stuff. Some people nowadays, a lot of them are concerned with turning up, or it's like the beat can be so fire that it doesn't really matter what the hell you're saying on it. You know what I mean?
yeah,
It's it's really a feeling.
yeah,
And um nowadays nowadays it's it's mostly it's mostly like the music. It's mostly the sonics that people are locked into. So like people like maybe like a Ice Spice or something. The beat can be so hot that it doesn't really matter what you're talking about because we're gonna vibe out. And most of the time, it's recreations of like older songs. You know
yeah,
what I mean?
yeah,
So like they'll lock into the sound of it, the sonics of it, and it's mostly redos. So what does that tell you about the era?
yeah.
You know? Uh,
It's a trip because my daughter will start singing a song, and she's 14, and she'll sing songs like from Dre or like old school stuff. I'm like, how do
mhm.
you even know this song? Because this came out, you weren't even born yet.
Yeah,
And I'm thinking the music now, will her kids do that? Like I can't.
no,
Yeah, see, I
not at
don't.
all.
I agree. Like I don't. It's kind of disappointing in my opinion.
Yeah, it's it's here today, gone tomorrow. As
Yeah,
far as far as now goes, because of once again bringing it right back into technology, we're able to move so fast now,
yeah,
and back when Dre made the Chronic, or the Chronic 2001 even, you couldn't make records like you make them now.
Oh yeah.
It's it's like I can go up in here and make a a good song within half an hour to an hour,
Oh wow.
like just just like the meat and potatoes of it, like build the beat and then have the words scratched out. Like, but like with Dre, sometimes he would record his stuff on tape, and it's like you can't make mistakes. And if
Yeah.
you make mistakes, you gotta run it back and do it all over again. Run the tape back, press rewind, and then run it all over again. So um, you know, the music nowadays, they're more like uh volume rather
Yeah.
than the the actual um the makeup of it, like spending the time to like cut the record right, you know? And you can tell when somebody puts 20 hours into a record, or like hundreds of hours, and then somebody also just puts a record out that they spent 15 minutes on.
Yep.
Tell the difference for
Yep.
sure. But that's why things will last, you know, at least I feel that way.
Yep. That
Like
makes sense.
things from back then lasted a lot longer than they will 20 years from now, and you throw on some Ice Spice. I don't know if anybody will remember Ice Spice in 20 to 30 years,
Yeah,
but people will
that's what
still
I
be playing Pac though,
yep.
you
Hell
know,
yeah.
or
Or
still be
remixing his
playing,
beats. Yep.
you know, still be
Yep.
playing Biggie. I guarantee you in 20 years in the club, you could still throw a Biggie record on, or like a Bob Marley. You
Oh
know what I
yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
Like you could still throw those things on in 20 years from now, and I don't think the newer generation will have that type of effect
Yeah. It's
as
it's it's kind of disappointing, but I think I always am envious of like certain friends that I know that are musicians, or even like my Hanai brother Hoppa. I
Mhm.
wish
Shout
I
out to
could,
Hopple.
yeah, shout out to Hoppa. I wish I could hear music like how you guys hear it. I see him like listen to a song, he'll just stop what he's doing, and then he's just like, "Oh, I could," and I know his wheels are turning. I'm like, "Fuck, what are you
Yeah.
listening?" I can't hear. Like, I wish I could hear music like how musical artists hear it. It's
Mhm.
good and bad. Like you could dissect it and find what's wrong with it, or you could vibe out to it in a whole nother level that most
Yeah.
everyday people like myself like wouldn't understand. I said if I could have one gift, I wish I could have that gift of just hearing music the way you guys do. Cause how you
Mhm.
explain it, it's different than what normal people hear it as. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it it's not like you couldn't. It's just like taking the time to like understand it. Just like, I mean, it's like anything else. You put 100,000 hours into something, you'll become a master
That's
at it,
true.
right? And it's just like, I don't know, you just take the time to learn something, and like, I don't know if I'll ever be able to play Call of Duty like some of these guys
Yeah.
out here, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
but you put the time in, I feel like anybody can do anything. It's
that's
it's
true.
just a matter of the will, you know. I think that's the only reason why I was able to do music for so long is, because a lot of people stop. A lot of
Yeah,
people when they're 5 years, 10 years in, they'll look at it and like give it up. But I don't know, for me, just being able to, like you were saying, like you hear something and then you start dissecting it. It's it's something that I can look forward to when I wake up in the morning.
Yeah.
You know, that's a why. It's one of my whys, just because it keeps me free in thought
Yeah.
and not locked down to the same program every single day. And yeah,
That's a blessing.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Sorry, I know that was a segue off on
Nah,
a
it's all
question that you
good.
had asked.
Yeah. I like that shit. Um, so here in Hawaii, hip hop is kind of growing a little bit more. I don't know if you notice what direction Hawaii hip hop is moving in and gonna be in the future. What would be kind of what you've been noticing and what you predict?
Um, with social media now, it's made it a lot easier to be exposed, like give yourself exposure, right? And there's a lot of like newer guys coming up that are like smashing, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like 808 smashing, Daju smashing. Like, man, there's just a bunch of there's a bunch of new guys that um are very creative and very musically inclined. Um, and then I enjoy watching the like the newer generation just um no number one, knowing how to be a content creator. You know, it's like it comes with it now. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
like if you're gonna be a musician, you pretty much gotta be a content creator.
Yep.
You know, unless you have the money to pay somebody to do it, and that's like not much, not especially with this like the way the housing is out here and all of that. You're not paying, like you got to learn how to do this music thing for real and the content creation.
Yeah, for sure.
So um I like the way that hip hop is evolving in Hawaii because of the exposure of social media and um good music being able to just reach other corners of the world, you know?
Yeah.
And um, there's always been a lot of talent in Hawaii, like a ton. But there's been no, like we're stuck here, you know,
Yeah.
between the Pacific Ocean. And it's like we never had an outlet or like a platform like we do with social media. And yeah, I see it reaching different sides of the world and being able to be noticed a lot easier than it has been in the past, for
That
sure.
makes sense. And that's like
Yeah,
any music that's good can be relatable to anybody anywhere. I mean, you can listen to
exactly.
K-pop and think it's cool and you vibe to it,
Exactly.
and just like music from Hawaii, somewhere else could hear it, and if it's good, people are gonna like it. Music can transcend all kind of barriers. Good music is
Yep.
good music, just like art. Like
Worldwide,
if yeah, it's not something that you can segregate, you know what I mean? To where if it's good, people are gonna like it no matter what, you know
for
what I mean?
sure.
Yeah,
Run
that's
runs back
super
to the
cool.
feeling.
Yep,
It runs back to
exactly.
the feeling of it. Somebody in Japan, I mean, I get people from Japan hollering at me all the time saying that they like the music. Most of the time it's like through translation. They don't even know what I'm saying, you know what I mean? So it's like um it's really the feeling.
Yeah.
That's why it doesn't really, most of the time nowadays, it doesn't really matter what you're saying on the record, is whether you want to be thought provoking or not, or
Yeah.
have layers to peel back, you know. But um, it's a feeling, and music is a language that is understood worldwide. And yeah, that's the beautiful thing about it.
What would you say your biggest trouble with having your music getting out there has been?
Um, it depends. So I've had so just last year I was signed to a label,
Oh,
which is
nice.
um which is how I got the Gucci thing, the Ross thing, you know what I mean, the Tory Lanez thing. But um that is there's difficulties in that lane, and then there's also difficulties in the independent lane, which I have been running for the last past 11 months now. Since the beginning of the year I've been out of my contract and I've been able to do the independent thing. um there's different sets of problems for different sides, you know what I
Mm.
mean? So like the independent side, um there's less funding, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then for the for the uh for the label side, there's less control. So it's
Oh,
kind of like picking like control of like the music that you can drop, or you know, how or the content that you put out. It has to be very uniform in that
yeah.
in that section of stuff. Um, but like there's different struggles on different sides. Um, Funding on the independent side, and then just control of things on the label side of things. Those would be probably uh, the two things that are the hardest to deal with. Um, at least on my behalf. I really loved the label that I was signed to. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
um, there's no problems. We're just up with the contract. Like it came to the end of the contract, and we both decided that um, we were gonna try different things. So it was it was cool. But yeah, now being on the other side of the fence, I see um, or I remember what the issue was when I was independent. But it's both of them are fathomable. It just depends on what route you want to take,
Yeah.
you know?
And how hard you gonna work in that direction. You know what I mean? Like,
Exactly. Both will work.
yeah.
Both will work. And struggles are struggles. We all got them.
Yeah.
But it just pick your heart, I guess. Pick your difficulty,
Yeah.
you know?
So have you been helping out? Like you said, you had some artists coming. You helping out the younger generation here in Hawaii to kind of
Yeah,
put their talents on the map.
for sure. For sure. I got a couple of the artists that come to the studio. Um, I got them on the radio. Um,
Oh, nice.
and we're just trying new things. I actually been setting up a um a label. So I'm starting to scout for different acts to put on a label of my own. Wouldn't work like a normal label deal. This would be more of a Lil Russell kind of thing, to where um I get what I put into whatever it is, you know what I mean? Like I'll make the beats. If I gotta write some things, or get the bass players or drummers to come in, I just take a fair cut, and
Yeah.
we just work by project or by single, whatever it is. I don't wanna do like a 4 year lock in with
Oh, yeah.
all of the complicated things. I'll just do like projects, or whatever you work on, like you'll get compensated for that, or whatever I put in, I'll work with you to see what's fair. Um, but yeah, I definitely want to help the younger generation and
That's super cool.
be able to put these people on and show them all like everything that I've learned. So it's been a fun creative process for me starting to put together this label
That's
for
super cool.
sure.
And giving back and giving opportunities to the next man coming up is
Of
always
course,
what it's all about. You know what I mean? That's aloha for sure.
of
Yeah.
course. Yeah, man. Is and not only that, I get to meet a lot of cool people. I get to learn things from these people all the time, you know?
Yeah.
So I I never stop learning from the younger cast, like the way that they put things together or like word things or how they'll make beats, you know what I mean? Because it's
Yeah.
not only just artists, but it's like producers too. If you're a
Nice.
producer, I'll work with you too. So yeah,
That's cool. So
it's
you
a cool
you
situation.
you do this full time or you have like a regular job also?
No, full time.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's what's up.
For the past 4 years. For the past
Yeah.
4 years. 2020, I got 2020, I got fired from my last job. But yeah, I always had a problem with like authority.
Yep. We
Like
all do.
it was,
Yeah.
it was just like I could never really keep a job. I've kept two jobs, and that was working with farmers market um
Okay. Keone.
at Keone's
Yeah.
at Keone's spot. Shout out to Keone. He's taught me a lot as well. Um so I worked at his gallery for a while, and that was a cool gig. Didn't get fired from there. And then the other spot was working for my dad at this rust proofing spot called Z Bart when I was like a kid. That was my first job. So I
Oh, nice.
never got fired from there. But everything in between, it was done for. It was either I got fired or I walked off. You know what I mean? Walmart, I walked off. I was pushing carts for a while. And
Oh,
I was
yeah.
like, you know what? Nope.
Fuck these cards.
Yeah, yeah. I was like, I can't. Shout out to all the cart pushers, by the way. It's not an
Yeah.
easy job. You out there in
Oh,
the hot
yeah.
sun. It's not an easy job. So,
Assholes be leaving their shit in the middle of the aisle. They
hey,
don't see the
fam, get that shit
corral.
out of.
Yeah.
Get that shit out of the planter, bro. Just put it. How hard is it? It's like three
Yeah.
steps. No.
People be lazy. Bro, I see some like how you mentioned how the social media has been kind of helping you guys out. You put out a lot of content, but your content is cool because you do not just music, you'll do a breakdown on a restaurant or you'll
Yeah.
I like that stuff and it gives people a little window into who you are outside of the artist and
Hmm.
as a person, you know what I mean? I like that um both aspects of your content. And that's what it's about. Like you can fabricate all kind of bullshit on Instagram and who's
Yeah.
really, you know what I mean? I like that stuff. You had one that kind of hit home and it actually made me think and I thought about it for the last 2 days and it was the one where you asked your audience a question. It was what would you rather have 10 minutes with Jesus or a trillion
Yeah.
dollars? And
Yeah.
I struggle with it because I was thinking like, fuck, what would it be? And then I kind of came up with an answer. But
Yeah.
what would your answer be to that question?
I rock with Jesus all day. I rock with Jesus all day. $1 trillion ain't gonna make you happy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? $1 trillion is not gonna make you happy. Like, sure, it'll buy you shit, but it's also gonna bring a whole lot of bullshit. More
Oh
money, more
yeah.
problems. Imagine? Could you imagine having $1 trillion and the amount of problems that would get
Oh
thrown at
yeah.
you immediately?
I wouldn't tell nobody. Yeah.
Exactly. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like, shit. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna go buy an island somewhere and just
Yeah.
if I had $1 trillion, But like more money, more problems.
I
And
agree. Yeah.
I I grew up in a church, so um, you know, I talk to God every day, and
Yeah.
He's the whole reason why all of this stuff around me is happening, and is
Hell
the
yeah.
reason why I have these ideas to even do these pieces of content or make these songs sound the way that they do. I just um I trust in him 100%.
Yeah.
So 10 minutes with Jesus would change my life like nothing else.
Yeah. I thought about it for a long time, and the reason why I was playing devil's advocate, I would say if I were to meet Jesus, it might this is kind of off the fucking dome, but I was thinking, would that fuck with my faith? So religion and your faith in God and stuff is something that's not tangible. So
Yeah.
if I were to meet Jesus, it's forcing my faith to become tangible. So then it's not faith anymore. You know what I mean? Like if I met
Hmm.
him, it's like love. You cannot hold love. You have faith that
Yeah.
it's there. So I would have been afraid to lose that aspect of my belief in Jesus. I'm never gonna see
Gotcha.
him. I can feel him. I can see him working through you. I can see him working through
Hmm.
other people, and that makes my faith strong. If he sat down right here, for one, I'd freak the fuck out. But
Me too.
yeah,
Me too, my
I
boy.
mean, I'm sorry for everything I did.
I
But
get it.
yeah, I I would think it might it would take away my faith because now I know for a fact, and it's not something I believe in. It's something that I've witnessed with my own eyes. You know what I mean? It's like I don't
Hmm.
know. I was just trying to get deep on that question because I thought it was a cool question.
Yeah. I feel like it would make my faith stronger just
Yeah,
because of the bond that I would try to, even though it's 10 minutes, even
yeah,
though it's 10 minutes, I'd be talking nonstop for that 10 minutes. I'd be like, I got
yeah.
so many questions.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
You know?
It made me
So I
think, bro. A lot of different things, bro. That question popped, and then I was thinking, who else would I want to meet? And I was like, guarantee I would want to meet Bruce Lee. I would want to meet that guy and chop it up with him. Bob
mhm,
Marley, and probably my
Bob.
other. I would want to meet Walt Disney, and if you read the Bible and understand the Bible, if you know who King David is, I would want to meet that
Mhm,
dude. And for the reason why King David was somebody I always looked up to because I'm small. He was the guy that messed up Goliath. He was a small
yeah,
warrior. And from I
yeah.
was already a fan, but um he was known as also a sinner. Like he wanted some guy's wife that he seen, so he was a king, so he sent that guy off to be on the front lines knowing that he's gonna get offed, and he took his
Mhm,
wife and then he repented and had God forgive him. But what made me think he was super cool was he was a warrior, someone who strategically planned out war, but he also
yeah.
was a poet. He also had a side of him where he liked to be in the garden. So he was like, in my opinion, like someone who had perfect balance. That's somebody I
Mhm,
always wanted to meet. That
yeah.
just got a little deep, but
No, no, yeah, I get it. Mine,
yeah,
mine would definitely be Bob,
yeah.
definitely be Pac.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, Pac would be a a crazy one. And then um Dr. Sebi.
Who's
That would
that?
be Dr. Sebi.
Who's
You know
that?
who Dr. Sebi is?
No.
The guy who cured AIDS. And they,
Oh, okay.
yes, like Sebi is like he's a all natural, or he was an all natural practitioner of like the alkaline diet. He
Oh,
pretty
okay.
much he created the alkaline diet. and has cured all kinds of things naturally. Um, a lot of people would say that um, he he got offed because you know um, he was doing things that they wanted hushed. Um,
Guarantee.
Nip, actually, Nipsey would be the other
Oh,
guy that rest in peace to Nipsey Hussle. But Nip would be another guy that I would want to talk to if I had the chance. Um, but Nipsey was going to create, back to what I was talking about. Nipsey was going to create a documentary on Dr. Sebi, and a lot of people
oh,
say that that was one of the reasons
oh.
why that happened. I don't know how true that is, but I just Dr. Sebi is uh another person that would be high up on that list.
Wow, I gotta look that guy
Yeah,
up. That guy
yeah.
sounds
Look,
like somebody cool. Yeah,
yeah. Look up Sebi on
yeah.
go down that rabbit hole for sure. That's an interesting one
Yeah,
for
I
sure.
guarantee that guarantee he's not here for that reason what you just said because I also work in the lab for cancer research and
Mm,
I always thought there has to be a cure out there, but there's no money in the cure. There's money in the
yeah,
treatment. It's a multi-billion dollar industry, cancer, that would go away
yeah,
with a cure. And
yeah,
there's no way like I'd be out of a job. You know what I mean? Which
yeah.
I would gladly be out of a job if they found a cure for
Hmm.
that. But um that's just reality, brother. I could see how
Yeah,
that would be suppressed easily. And how could there not be with all the technology we have? Like, why isn't there a cure for that shit? You know what I mean?
for sure. I mean, it's all in plants, though.
Yep.
It's definitely the the answer is all in plants and what we put into our body and stuff,
Yep.
you know?
And
And
what we
like,
shouldn't be.
yeah, you know, it's super. I was just looking at something today. Um, it was McDonald's ingredient list in the US and in the UK.
Oh,
And it
really?
was like, there's like three things in the ingredients in the UK. There's like a bunch of different shit in the US version, including formaldehyde.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
in the fries, yeah,
Yeah. I
yeah.
ain't fucking with
So
the, yeah, I seen some shit too. It's like, oh, you ever seen how they make
crazy.
McNuggets, bro? I never eat, that's not even chicken.
Yeah, the mush,
Yeah, the
the
pink
mush.
slurry, yo.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Fuck that,
Like,
dude.
no, can't do it.
Yeah,
Do
I
it.
can't eat, yo. I get it, bro. It's yeah. Even when like, you go Japan and eat McDonald's, their shit looks like the picture. You get
Yeah,
you come
it's
here,
different.
the picture don't look like the thing you they serve you.
It's different.
Yeah,
The regulations won't allow it.
yeah,
You know what I mean? The regulations will not allow it. But then like the big companies and corporations out here, they own the United States, you know?
yeah,
So it's just like McDonald's owns so much property, you know, in the
yep,
US, and it's like you control that much, you have a say in
yep.
what's going to
What's
be possible.
acceptable? Yep,
Yeah.
exactly.
And they don't have that in Japan and they don't have that in the UK like that, you
Yeah,
know? So
that's
yeah,
insane. Well,
we
not to
definitely
get,
went
yeah, we went off topic.
we're in the rabbit hole.
Yeah,
It's fine. I'm cool with it.
I
I'm
like that
enjoying this
shit. Yeah.
conversation. Yep, me too.
So I wanted to ask you too, like you're a promoter as well to get back on topic.
Mhm.
Like you put on shows and club events and stuff.
Yeah, yep. So like every once in a while, I'll do it periodically. And if I have bar owners or like venue owners that um I like to work with, um I go off of feeling a lot. And
Yeah.
when I have excuse me, when I have a good rapport with somebody or like a relationship and I like the vibe of the person that I'm working with at the venue, then I'll continuously do it, you know. Um, so I like to put on things for folks out here on the Big Island, although it's not a level of what Oahu is.
Yeah.
I just like to put events together for people who like music, you know, just
Yeah.
like-minded people. I enjoy the energy of um DJing and like having a crowd like feed off of the energy and you know stuff like that. So, but yeah, that's something that I like doing.
What
Giving the town something to come out to.
yeah. What I've noticed, because we did events in Hilo, Kona, Maui,
Mhm.
and what I've noticed about doing things on the outer island versus doing things here on Oahu, and I'm not putting down Oahu or anybody here or whatever, but
Mhm.
the vibes that the outer islands have is like old school vibes. They're in the
Mhm.
moment. They're not on their phones trying to show everybody I'm in the VIP, popping bottles, trying
Yeah,
to not talk to anybody because I'm trying to create a image or status level that I like. It's just about the fun, the music, the night, and the moment. And bro, that's kind
yeah.
of lost a little bit here on Oahu, and it's disappointing. But the outer islands have it. Like we did a thing in Maui at lava rocks with guys over there, and
Mhm.
I was in the DJ booth just watching, like just watching everybody, and I'm like, this reminded me of like how the clubs used to be back in the day, where
Mhm.
nobody had cell phones, like trying to
Yeah,
live stream shit or trying to like take selfies and all that. It's about
yeah,
meeting people and being in the moment, and you guys have that vibe, and that I'm envious of that because that's something that's going away and it's disappointing.
yeah. It's funny now because with with the way that the music industry is working now, right? It was very um jaded. It was uh a lot of people being signed to record labels and stuff. I know this is kind of off, but it ties in. It like people being signed to these labels, and then now um, there's a bunch of cuts, right? Just like all around the music industry. Um, Warner is probably going to be closing into Universal, and it's like Def Jam is folding up into something else, and it's all going to eventually go into Universal, right? But it's life now is going in the music industry. I feel like it's going back into building a connection with people and less of an image and status thing now,
That's super
right?
good.
So like
Yeah.
with social media the way that it is, like um it's it's building connections with people, right?
Yeah.
And artists are gonna have to do that. But I have a feeling like everything is gonna come back into like a connection to like a one-on-one connection to people a lot
Yeah.
more now. It's gonna have to, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Because the status thing, we realize like people are slowly realizing the status thing and the like having all of the money being like flossed in front of like that's all facade, you
Yep,
know?
exactly.
But um like now everybody is getting smarter and they're realizing like a person for more than just what you're seeing on social media, you know, because it's a
Yeah.
highlight reel.
Yep.
But so like tying that all back in, That feeling is kind of what I'm basing my business model off of now. Like
Yeah.
that home feeling that you get when what you're talking about, like the connection that you're having with people in in the vicinity. It's my business is going to end up coming to that. You know what I mean? Whether it's like a DM text online and actually talking to somebody,
Yeah.
or being face to face with somebody at a show.
Yeah.
Like it's gonna start, life is gonna start getting a whole lot more personal, I feel like,
Good.
for everybody.
That's good. I hope so because that's exactly the direction I would want it to be.
Yeah.
I said this story on my
Because
show a
there's a
bunch
bunch of
of times. Yeah. And
Mhm,
I went to a Third Eye Blind concert at Republic, and
mhm.
there's just an alternative band, and I was
Yeah.
watching it, and everybody they have like a lot of hits, and everybody's like recording on their phones, and like, and at one point the lead singer stopped and he's like, everybody put your phones away for this one song. I want to connect with you guys in this moment right now, and I just want it to be everybody in this room with no screens, and let's just vibe out together. And oh, I was just
Yeah.
like, fuck yeah, that's that. And like that was the best song of the day, and everybody
Yeah.
was singing, and I was like, that you could feel the mana in the room, and
Hmm.
you couldn't feel that feeling prior. And I was like, that's what this is about. That's what
Yep.
this whole thing is about. And for you to say that that's the
Exactly.
direction it might be going in, and how you're trying to take your business model, like that's refreshing,
Yeah.
bro. That's super cool.
Yeah. And a lot of people feel like you. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I feel like you. It's just like we've seen it so much. It's
Yeah.
starting to get corny. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like everything else is starting to get, it's starting to get corny and watered down. And it's just like
Yeah.
it's not even it's not even about um like the highlight reel. Let people see who you really are. You
Yeah.
know,
Exactly.
like put it put it out there. If they like you, they like you. You're not supposed to be for everybody anyway.
Yep.
So it's
Exactly.
like that's
That's
yeah.
fucking cool.
You know, the people who are meant to to like what you're doing, that's the people. You know,
Yep.
that's the people you connect with. So yeah,
I
man.
feel that. Well, we've been going on for about an hour. Last thing I want to do is ask you, what would your advice be for someone coming up trying to do what you're doing or trying to get into what you're doing? What would your advice be to the next generation or somebody with those dreams and passion?
Take take every chance and take every chance that comes at you that makes sense. Um, don't leave any stone unturned, and always be a student. Always.
Yo, I like that, man. Well, where can people find your music, find you on social media? Where can people connect with you?
So I'm on all of the streaming platforms as KC808 with no spaces. I also have a website that I'm gonna start doing like physical copies and direct to consumer, which is kc808.com. So you'll be able to get all of the MP3s and stream the music from the website. Um, I'm also on uh, I'm also on sorry, you might have to edit this part. I'm also on IG as Casey Latham, uh, and on TikTok as Casey808. That's all the spots.
And you got your merch out. I mean, I got a hat from you a couple months ago, and you got shirts and stuff too, or like you're running more
Yes,
merch.
sir. So yeah, I'm gonna do another merch drop during the holidays, probably more towards like Thanksgiving and Christmas on Casey808.com. Yeah, so it'll be on the website.
All right, perfect. Yeah, these things are fire,
Yeah,
especially bro, there's a good hat, bro.
thank
These
you.
are
That's a
good
new era
hats, dude. Yeah. They're like,
for
I'm like,
sure.
oh, it's not some of that, bro. I've gotten shit like the cheap fucking
Yeah,
yeah. This is
I
good stuff. Yeah.
definitely like the new era. I'm gonna stick with doing the new era hats and probably gonna end up using like thicker like pro club shirts for the
Oh
next
yeah.
release on the shirts and stuff. So yeah, a lot of like all of the stuff is gonna be quality made
Yeah. I
for
could tell
sure.
your attention to detail, bro. Yeah.
Yeah. I love the 3D printing and all of that,
Yeah.
like
It's like
3D
embossed,
puff and
huh?
all of that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, for sure.
And for us, as always, you can find us on Instagram at Above the Bridge Podcasts, our YouTube channel. Our podcast is wherever you get your podcasts. My Instagram is Daddy Daddy High, and our website is atbpod.com. Well, man, I appreciate you. I definitely want to see how your career goes in the future, as well as your label.
Thank you, my brother.
And I definitely want to have you back on again, brah. This is good fun. I want to get off
For
topic
sure.
again. We could run a podcast just talking shit about whatever.
Hell yeah. I'm
Yeah,
super with it.
yeah.
Super down.
Right on.
Definitely. Thank you for having me, my brother. I appreciate you so
Automatic.
much.
Yeah, I've been a fan and
Sure.
I've watched your stuff for a while. Hoppa got to do stuff with you in Hilo and had good
Yeah,
things to say about you. And but you guys should collab, bro. You guys have
I'm
that,
super down.
bro. You guys would make something super cool for sure.
Yes, sir. I'm super down.
Yeah. Right on. Will shock us for the cameras.
Yes, sir.
We're out. Shout out to the Artist Group Network. Aloha.
Let's.